Hi everyone, Stephen Ray Morris here, and this is the next installment of the Dino ASMR videos. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed the first one, and so I'm trying out a new angle here for you to see. Let me know if you like this one or if you like the old one. Again, I'm still pretty new to this, so I'm just trying things out. So let me know what works for you guys and what you guys like best. Today we're going to talk about the Eyewitness books, this classic line of 80s and 90s science books for kids, and we're doing, obviously, Dinosaur. So the cover says, discover the world of dinosaurs in close-up, their behavior, habitats, and the mystery of their sudden disappearance. Ooh. So on the cover, excuse me if I look back occasionally to see if I'm on camera. I'll hold it right about there. So on the cover, we have a skeleton of a Triceratops. Looks like a Diplodocus, a raptor claw, maybe a velociraptor skeleton, and a Parasaurolophus head with the horn, and then like a little lizard. It's so cute. Oh, we have a shell too. So opening it up, presented with this beautiful, it almost reminds me of the Natural History Museum and zoo kind of clothing that they're doing now with little dinosaur prints and stuff. I would love this as wallpaper. I mean, that's nice. So I would love to have this as my wallpaper. But I won't focus on that for too long. A dinosaur, Triceratops skull. So, and you'll begin to see the aesthetic of the Eyewitness books right away. So, it was written by David Norman, PhD, and Angela Milner, PhD. And yeah, the aesthetic is very much, again, Natural History Museum aesthetic, sort of, and then displaying all the goods, as it were, on white. So we have a Theocelosaurus skull. We have an Omnimite. We have an Ornithischian vertebrae. We have a horsetail. We have an Iguanodon fibula, the calf bone. We have Ornithischian tail vertebrae. Cerostenotes claw, a stegosaur tooth, dogwood leaves, gizzard stones. We'll learn about more of those later. A cross-section of iguanodon tail vertebra, an Albertosaurus claw, some hadrosaur teeth, and a megalosaurus tooth. So, and, oh, I have a bookmark in here. That's fun. What were dinosaurs? Back in the midst of time, there lived an extraordinary group of animals called dinosaurs. They survived for nearly 150 million years and then disappeared off the face of the earth in the most mysterious extinction ever. Many of them were gigantic, and some were no bigger than a chicken. Some were peaceful and ate only plants. Others were fierce, sharp-toothed flesh eaters. Dinosaurs were reptiles, just like the living iguana lizard on this page. They had scaly skin and laid eggs, but unlike the lizard, which had short, sprawling legs, dinosaurs had long legs tucked under their bodies, which meant they could move more efficiently. Many other reptiles shared the dinosaur world, swimming in the sea and flying in the air, but dinosaurs lived only on the land. We know about them today because their bones and teeth have been preserved in rocks as fossils. Now, I'm going to say this book was published. Let's just briefly touch back. This book was published in 1989, so this is before Jurassic Park came out, in the 90s when the dinosaurs were birds craze happened, those swinging 90s. I think it began a little bit earlier, but I think Jurassic Park was definitely in popular culture when that movement started. So that's the thing when we're looking back at some of these old encyclopedias, and I will definitely want to read from a really old one soon, from like the 70s or the 60s. And you'll begin to, we're reading these for sort of enjoyment factor, and sometimes this stuff is out of date. So you are now warned. Hips can tell a story, so we're learning about the way that the differences between lizard hips and bird-hipped dinosaurs. Ironically, lizard-hipped dinosaurs are the ones that are most closely related to birds and not bird-hipped. Fun fact. Let's see, there's a little bit about the tuatara. So make sure you can see everything. There we go. Oh, I think I'll just leave it on the ground. So the nearest living reptiles relative to dinosaurs are crocodiles. So that's a little out of date. Millions of years ago, an ancient crocodile-like ancestor, Thecodont, socket-toothed reptile, developed the habit of running on land. Over millions of years, thecodonts changed the way they moved their legs, became smaller and faster, and eventually evolved into dinosaurs. So you have, I like this little chart of the lizard going from in the water, on four legs, bird croc, upright and dangerous. And we also have this iguana in close up. And again, the layouts and the text and everything are so gorgeous. So early discoveries. Although dinosaur remains have been around for millions of years, people knew nothing about these extraordinary creatures until the last century. One of the first people to discover dinosaur bones was an English doctor named Gideon Mantle, who collected rocks and fossils as a hobby. In 1820, Dr. Mantle, with his wife Marianne, found some large teeth embedded in the stone. Mantle had never seen teeth quite like them before, and when he found some bones nearby, he began to do some serious research. After a lot of work, Dr. Mantle concluded that the teeth and bones had belonged to some kind of giant reptile, which he named iguanodon, meaning iguana tooth. Two other giant reptiles were discovered in England soon afterward, named Megalosaurus and Haliosaurus, but it was not until 1841 that these creatures were given a group name. Sir Richard Owen, a well-known scientist at the time, declared that they should be called dinosaurs, meaning terrible lizards. And so began a time of great excitement in the scientific world. The great dinosaur hunt had begun all over the world. And so, looking at bones and early drawings of the iguanodon, and let's see, we have Gideon Mantle and his little portrait. We've got these early iguanodon statues in London, which I'm surprised I didn't see when I was living there. Dinosaur landscape. This is just looking at the plant life and stuff. And so I'm not gonna read everything in full detail, but you can pause and zoom in if you want to take a look. Fern wave all the way, I think, for the time of the dinosaurs, with conifers and, just all kinds of ferns, an English laurel, more dogwood, horsetail. And this page goes into just a description of the different sizes of dinosaurs. We have a Compsognathus skeleton made popularized in Jurassic Park, or The Lost World specifically. Again, a guy with a giant femur. More bones. My favorite dinosaurs, the sauropods. Kind of shot of a crane here. Giraffe. Hard neck, short and flexible. Small skull compared to the size of the body. Yeah, I love sauropods. Diplodocus. Mamenchisaurus, also seen in The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Oh, more stuff about backbones. Let's see, what kind of bones do we've got here? We have a neck bone, a scapula, shoulder blade, humerus, upper arm bone, radius, forearm bone, ulna, forearm bone, the wrist, the hand, the tibia, aka the shin bone, the fibula, aka the calf bone, and connected to the, you get it, femur, the thigh bone, the ischium, the hip bone, the pubis, the other hip bone, and a hip socket. And then, extending all the way to the tail. We have the ischium hip bone again, the tail vertebra, the elongated chevron. The chevron bones become flatter towards the middle of the tail. That's interesting. You can kind of see that following along. These are where the muscles attached. And here a flat chevron, and the tail keeps going. So yeah, they just have a little more about different types of vertebra, or the tail bones, I should say. And again, tail keeps going. So with tail bones, joint between the tail bones become narrower towards the end. The joints begin to disappear, and then the end of the tail finally reach the end of the Diplodocus's tail. Because they did not have support any muscle, the bones at the tip have become narrow cylinders. This also makes the tail an effective whip. And so, I hope you can zoom in on this dinosaur being like, no. Yeah, because some dinosaurs like Ankylosaurus and Eucephalus would hit people with their tails because they had bony clubs, and obviously popularized in the Lost World, the Stegosaurus tail, and this is an Ankylosaurus tail. So lots of tails going on. Dinosaur diets. Many of us imagine dinosaurs as being fearsome meat-eating creatures, but some were peaceful plant eaters that simply browsed among the treetops, that borrowed from the treetops, tearing off leaves. Other dinosaurs were able to sit and eat a mixed diet of meat and plants like humans. Those that ate meat did not confine themselves to dinosaur meat. They would have eaten anything that moved, including insects and birds. Fossilized dinosaur remains can tell us a lot about what the animal ate when it was alive. The most important clues are found in the shape and arrangement of jaws and teeth. Even the overall shape of the dinosaur's body tells a story. Meat eaters often had big heads and short, powerful necks in order to tear lumps of meat off a kill. The long necks of many plant eaters were useful for reaching the tops of the treetops to feed. So, again, such a beautiful layout. There's something very classic about this. It's like dated, but also feels kind of timeless at the same time. Yeah. And of course, we go in depth into meat eaters' teeth. And then we go into the plant eaters. Peculiar heads. We go into one of my favorite dinosaurs, the Parasaurolophus, a duck-billed dinosaur. We also have a Pachycephalosaurus skull, and we have different types of duck-billed dinosaurs. I also like the eyewitness books. They have, not only do they have like old-timey drawings and photos, but then they also have like, if you can see that, just kind of like funny representations and sort of older school-looking vintage representations of dinosaurs, which I think is really cool. Talk about the Triceratops, one of the megafauna, charismatic megafauna that Luce Tomlin-Brenner described in episode 3 of See Jurassic, right? They talk about the skin of the dinosaur, the pebbly kind of lizard skin that dinosaurs had. I can definitely tell this is before feathers. Talk about plated dinosaurs like Stegosaurus, or Sagingosaurus, which is like a thinner version of Stegosaurus. We got fast movers and runners, and see they have like cool vintage. That seems to be a running theme, is that Victorian era of discovery so far in R2, done in very different ways, but so far in the books that we've looked at. This is interesting. Why did some dinosaurs walk on 4 legs and some on 2? The answer is simply that dinosaurs walked in the way that suited their lifestyle best. Oh, thank you. Most carnivores, for instance, walked on their hind legs and used their hands to catch and hold on to their prey. Other dinosaurs walked on all four legs, mainly because their enormous size and weight needed support from four posts underneath. Many of the large herbivores, such as Diplodocus, were like this. Some dinosaurs had the option of walking on either 2 or 4 legs, depending on what they were doing at the time. They could move around slowly on all fours, feeding on low vegetation, but when alarmed could rear up and charge off on hind legs alone. These dinosaurs needed special hands that allowed for weight supporting as well as grasping. And so again, you have these casts and dinosaur bones of, feet and legs, and this is an iguanodon hand, so that's cool. So they go into detail about ancient footprints, the ones that are fossilized, the prints that are actually fossilized in the mud. And they go into detail about the claws. Claw bones have stories to tell about the lifestyle of their owners. Go into eggs and nests. So dinosaurs, like reptiles and birds today, laid hard-shelled eggs. We know this because many fossilized dinosaur eggs have been found, some even containing small skeletons. Sometimes the eggs have been found in nests with the remains of the parent dinosaurs nearby. Nests found complete with fossilized young tell us that the baby dinosaurs, like baby birds, would instinctively stay in their nest no matter what happened to their mother. Several nests found close together suggest that some dinosaurs nested in colonies. It is perhaps surprising that dinosaur eggs were never very huge. If they were a proportion to the size of some adult dinosaurs, the shells would have been far too thick to hatch and would not have allowed enough oxygen to reach the creatures inside. So over here is a quail egg, and then we have unidentified dinosaur egg, and then we have a protoceratops egg, and then we have just a nice photograph of a fossilized dinosaur nest. So they talk about birth and growth, because just differences in the dinosaur's age and things like that. Also existed with dinosaurs. And then we get into the death of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs disappeared from the earth quite suddenly. And why this happened is still a mystery. I didn't mean to give it a dramatic pause, actually. Around 70 million years ago, the dinosaurs ruled the earth. Yet about 5 million years later, they had all died out, perhaps only a matter of months. Scientists have offered various theories to explain their sudden extinction, but many ignore one vital point. Dinosaurs were only one of a whole range of creatures that died out at the same time, including all the swimming and flying reptiles. So any theory to explain dinosaur extinction must explain the disappearance of these groups as well. The theories are numerous. Some people think that small mammals ate all the dinosaur eggs. This is very unlikely, for how would it account for the extinction of other species that disappeared at the same time? Others believe that a plague of caterpillars ate all the dinosaurs, plant food, and starved to death. And then there's some classic representations of sort of meteors, disease. So they show like a hadrosaur backbone with just like tumors. I find it very interesting. So the Eyewitness has a documentary version because they did full production documentaries as well. And they talk a lot about the 70 million to 65 million. I feel like now we very maybe because of the theories of extinction or meteorite hitting the earth, we just say 65 million years is when dinosaurs died out. And I find it very fascinating that this book, especially, and the documentary talk about the 70 million to 65. I don't know. I just find it very interesting that certain ways that we talk about this stuff has changed. Dinosaur or bird? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Are birds descendant of dinosaurs? Until 60 years ago, experts disregarded any such relationship. This was largely because they assumed dinosaurs did not have a wishbone and therefore could never evolve into birds, which have a very developed one. The wishbone in birds helps to keep the wing joint in position. Now, however, we know that several dinosaurs, mainly meat eaters, actually did have a wishbone. Much of the debate surrounds a fossil bird called Archaeopteryx, or ancient wing, which lived 150 million years ago alongside the dinosaurs. It certainly had feathers, like all birds, but it also had many reptilian features, such as teeth, that are unknown in modern birds. An American professor who studied Archaeopteryx very carefully found it shared over 20 features with meat-eating dinosaurs like Coelophysis below. So was Archaeopteryx a bird or a dinosaur with feathers? And is it the link between dinosaurs and the birds of today? The debate continues. Well, I mean, again, this book is almost 30 years old. So they have the iconic Archaeopteryx skeleton. This is a Coelophysis skeleton. And then they have like a little comparison here between the Compsognathus and the Archaeopteryx, and kind of their similar features. So yeah, this was way before all the feathered dinosaur evidence has been coming out in the last couple years, last 10 years. So it's still interesting to read, even if it's not all 100% true anymore. And then we go into how to find a dinosaur, which kind of shows all the different tools for paleontologists who go out into the field, which is cool. And then how to rebuild a dinosaur. So it kind of shows the process of taking dinosaurs back to a place like a natural history museum, which is awesome. And what else do we have? Oh, the time scale. Oh, this is cool. It is incredible to think that animals and plants have lived on Earth for over 700 million years. During this time, a bewildering variety have come and gone. The first dinosaurs appeared about 210 million years ago at the end of what is known as the Triassic period. They roamed the Earth throughout the Jurassic period until 64 million years ago, right at the end of the Cretaceous period. During the millions of years of life on Earth, the world has changed enormously. Continents have moved, sea levels and climates have changed, creatures have become extinct. If we look at the fossils of creatures that lived before, during, and after the dinosaur age, we can see how some things have changed and some have remained the same. Damn, these are wise words. Eyewitness book. At the time when the dinosaurs appeared, none of the countries of the world existed as we know them. The world consisted of one huge landmass called Pangaea. Yeah, so they just kind of show examples of crocs and other sort of bugs and things, and it's interesting they don't show the landmass. Maybe they are going to show it. I don't know. This is cool though. I mean, just seeing like, you know, obviously this is a focus on dinosaurs, but it's kind of cool at the very end. They're kind of like, well, look what else was around at the time. And so the end of an era. As the Cretaceous period drew to a close, the dinosaurs gradually became less numerous until eventually they disappeared altogether. At the same time, changes were also taking place in Earth's landscape. The continents became separated by wide stretches of sea. Sea levels rose, flooding much of the low-lying land where many types of dinosaurs lived. Many groups of sea animals became extinct. Instead of being warm all the time, the climate began to become more variable or seasonal. The types of plants lived at the time also changed. Flowering plants became increasingly abundant. As the dinosaurs died out, they made way for a new ruling group of I don't know why I can't say that. As the dinosaurs died out, they made way for a new ruling group on Earth, the mammals. That's how we're going to end it. Oh, no, we're going to have some myths and legends. Ooh, the Great Brontosaurus hoax, which I think a lot of you guys know about. Where the it was the Diplodocus skull on the Camarasaurus body. If you listen to Ologies with Allie Ward, she talked to paleontologist Michael Habib about the Brontosaurus hoax, which I highly recommend listening to. And here's a little appendices, an index. It says index right there. And then we go back to this beautiful... I could just do that for hours. Wallpaper. And that was, so on the back it says, here's all the different, there we go, you can see it. All the different eyewitness books. I have the one for cat as well, but, and I had a bunch of these growing up. So I know I had fish and I had money for sure. I definitely there was like a spy one too. So I kind of want to start collecting these again because they're just so much fun. Again, not all of them are accurate anymore because they're all, a lot of these are about 30 years old now. There, you can see it now. They're all about 30 years old now, but yeah, they're just something really cool about them, and it'd be fun to have them all on a shelf. Yeah, this is the Eyewitness Books Dinosaur. Thank you guys for following along with me. Let me know if you like the new setup or if you prefer the old one. Again, I'm just experimenting. Let me know if you just want to... nobody last time asked me about the audio version, but I'm still going to provide that anyway, just in case. It ain't no thing. But yeah, thank you again for supporting me on Patreon. It really means a lot. And let me know what you think. And I will see you again very soon. Thank you.